gonna get to talk basketball with my favorite cousin on the podcast. There he is! Yeah!
Hey, had to get that thing out of my face.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Oh my God. My guys are useless when it comes to talking basketball. I finally got Brad on the train, though. It's so funny, dude. You don't watch the fucking NBA, yet you know more than either of my other co-hosts about the NBA. You guys got to understand, like, Joel knows more about the NBA than any person who doesn't watch the NBA.
I don't even have 2K yet.
Really? Hello and welcome to this thing we call Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play, which you can find at Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play on YouTube and at GoGonzaJournal.substack.com and wherever you find your podcasts. I'm your host, Anthony Variano. I'm joined as usual by my co-hosts, the Brothers Hawes, and a very special date for us. My favorite cousin and NBA 2K expert, Joel Variano, is on the show. Joel, my favorite cousin, how are you doing, my man?
I'm fabulous. Thanks for asking.
How could you not be fabulous after the Wolves took 2 in Golden State, baby? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We were in first place for half a second, but we were there for half a second.
Fucking Denver.
Fucking Denver. Hey, we got the tiebreaker over them as it stands right now, though. Let's get into it. The Timberwolves are good, and the Warriors don't like it. An altercation broke out minutes into the game between Minnesota and Golden State Tuesday night, with Jaden McDaniels and Klay Thompson mixing it up, and Draymond Green predictably going too far and choking Rudy Gobert for trying to break it up. McDaniels, Thompson, and Green were all ejected. Thuggery. The antics took the Wolves out of their game, but they managed to make the big plays in the big moments to beat the scrappy, hot-shooting Warrior reserves led by Chris Paul. He's the only one left.
No, their rookie played good.
That Pacheco was amazing. Amazing. Okay, so this is what I saw. I saw Golden State Stars realizing they couldn't beat the Timberwolves of all teams without Steph Curry and saying, if I can't win, I don't want to play. And what I saw from the Wolves was maturity, especially given they were punching walls and each other at the end of last season. Joel, do you concur?
Well, it was pretty damn impressive. They pulled. The best thing about this season is we still give up big leads, but we actually finish games. That's my big takeaway. Yeah, we can close games. We still give up the big leads, but somehow we're getting it done.
Yeah. 8 times and 7 times in a row, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's an unprecedented hot streak against the toughest schedule in the NBA thus far. We've already played the hard part of our schedule. It only gets easier from here.
Yeah. Well, tonight might be a test. Finally, KD, Bill, and Booker are all healthy for this game. So
right,
but they haven't really played together that much because they've been dealing with injuries. So
right.
It's going to be a tough test for the defense. That's what I'm looking forward to. 3 good scores. Let's see if our defense can hold these guys.
Jaden McDaniels will be fresh.
Yep.
He only played 100 seconds. Mike, you had something?
Yes. How close did Draymond Green actually get to choking out Gobert?
Gobert said
I don't think
that
so.
he didn't. It wasn't a tight enough choke for him to pass out. He said.
Well,
it's a hilarious thing. Who says that after a fucking basketball game?
If you see his hands, he's got the what the fuck up. Like after a while, it's just like he was gonna fight him, and then he just put his arms up. What the fuck? Let me go. So
let's not get it twisted. The Wolves beat Golden State at their best, and they held Golden State to 26.8% shooting from 3-point range on Sunday, where all this ink started when. Draymond was trying to get in Ant Edwards' face, and then Ant Edwards is like, "Don't nobody fear you, bro, no more." And then scored 8 points in a little over a minute, and said, "Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let my game do the talking. You just keep yapping, and I'm just gonna keep scoring points."
Yeah, bark and no bite.
Yeah, and
that's where I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but Golden State is definitely not the team that they used to be.
No,
I mean, Klay Thompson hasn't even scored over 20 points this year. Like, I'm glad what the Wolves are doing. Yesterday, though, I was disappointed, though. Like, it took us until the last seconds to win that game. I mean, we should have blown them out by 30. Like, realistically. And maybe that's why in the power rankings that came out today, we're only at 5. When we've beat the best teams in the league, arguably, if we were in any other, well, if we were in the NFL, we'd be ranked number 1 right now. Well, so I'm trying to ease into this.
Yeah. I'll tell you what happened yesterday, Brad, is we saw the fatal flaw of this Minnesota Timberwolves defense. Is if you can play small, just put 5 perimeter players out there, you can force Rudy off the floor because he's not going to score enough and he's not going to be able to defend the 5th perimeter player.
He did hit free throws yesterday, though, which was inspiring, but he shot 2 of 9, so...
Yeah. And he came up with a big block on a 3 on a play that was fucking incredible. This is how good Rudy Gobert is defensively. He knew what Chris Paul was trying to do. He knew Chris Paul was going to try to fucking hit a layup down the lane at the end of that game. Chris Paul wanted the ball out of his hands when Rudy Gobert standing in the lane. He scares people from even attempting to drive to the rim. And Gobert got an early start out of the paint to go block that shot in the corner that would have won the game for Golden State.
Is it just me, or does he seem really weak when he's rebounding the ball?
He's got butterfingers. The ball is like in his hand.
The ball's biting his hand or something like that.
Yeah.
But like to piggyback off what you said about playing against a small lineup, this team's not built to play against a small lineup. This team is built to beat the Denver Nuggets and get into the final, in my opinion. I mean,
yeah. I think is it cutting out?
No, you're good.
I think we were talking about last night about how Cat's a liability, but that was usually when he was the top scorer for the team. Now he's scorer number 2. Like we talk all the time, like, should they trade Cat? I mean, sometimes I think it, sometimes I don't. Like recently they've been playing good, but that's the great benefit of having Nas on the bench, because if Rudy's off the floor, we can put Nas in. We could still slide Cat to the 5. I mean, I like the options of our bigs. I love that Nas is our fucking Ginobili.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous, man. The guy's a great perimeter defender.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah, a great ball handler. It's fucking insane. That's why I think Karl is expendable, is because how well, but he did not play well in that game yesterday.
He still scored pretty good.
But he had 3 fouls right away, had to sit down early in the first half. And that was a big reason why we don't win this game by double digits.
Yeah.
If we don't have Karl Anthony Towns playing yesterday, though, we don't win the game.
No.
He came in clutch at the end. The one thing, like the game before, some of the stuff when we're up by a few points at the end of the game, I do not like some of Ant-Man's shot selection.
Yeah.
Quick shots, like, what are you doing? But then, then in overtime, he comes up and just dominates and blows them out. Like, he's young. He's
21. You're already comparing him to Michael Jordan.
No, we do have a good comparison with him and Jalen as Scotty and Jordan, big time.
You mean Jaden McDaniels?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jaden. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
His brother plays for Toronto.
I know. Well, like I said, go ahead.
What we're missing is just a consistent bench score with Nas. Like if we can get either Kyle or Na to get 10 to 12 points nightly, I think we'll be good. And we just really need a reliable backup point guard. We don't have anybody. Nas has been playing pretty good, but he hasn't been turning the ball over.
Tell the people who Na is, Joel.
Alexander Walker.
Okay, thank you. Na is a person, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just saw Nas in Vegas like a couple weeks ago. That's what I thought you were talking about.
Nas playing basketball?
No, not Nas. Nah. N-A-W. Nah. Which is, I think, a great nickname. Nah, you ain't getting this today.
Nah, bro.
The way nah. Because the way he guarded Murray in the playoffs, he did a hell of a job.
Good perimeter defender.
He's won Coach Finch over, and he's been playing a lot. So,
and you like?
I like that I like that he sees something in him. He's always been an inconsistent scorer, but like I told you, I'm like, if he can give us 10 points at a decent shot percentage and work on his playmaking, he might be our new point guard. Who knows? Conley's old. That's the only knock on him. He's still solid. He's just old.
My favorite cousin Joel, the NBA 2K expert as we call him, does not watch the NBA, yet knows more about the NBA than any of us here. I bet there isn't a person out there. I bet you there isn't a single person out there who watches less basketball than Joel and knows more than Joel. Okay? Mm-hmm. So if there is, we want you on the show and we'll do battle. We will do battle.
I keep hearing the word basketball, and in my mind, I'm like, 88 days till catchers and pitchers report. 88 days till catchers and pitchers report.
Oh my God.
That's me when you guys talk baseball.
Right.
I always bring up Torrey Hunter thinking he's going to come back, but that ain't happening.
As a manager. They were talking about him managing the Angels, but that fell through.
Oh God, Ron Washington though. God
what a great, yeah. All right, Joel. Well, we're going to talk about some other sports. It was a pleasure having you on as usual. We want you on more often because the Wolves are good, and the Warriors don't like it.
So, hey,
later, boys.
Let's get a prediction real quick. Prediction. Where do you think that the Wolves finish in the West right now, Joel?
I'd say top 4 in the West.
That's where I have them too. 4th overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think if we can answer our backup point guard position, I think that's just like the missing piece. And then if we do move Cat, I love that he's raising his trade value if we do move him. But like my dream target would be Murray from the Hawks. He's 6'4", 6'5" point guard, 7'1" wingspan. I mean, he'd be perfect point of attack defense with Rudy in the back. Like it'd be nuts.
Overall 88 on NBA 2K.
I'm just gonna say he's never seen him play probably, except for on the video game.
No, Murray. I root for the Spurs. I respect Pop. He was one of the last picks, I think 29th, and he's just a Spurs guy. And Pop just teaches these kids how to play basketball, and he's a guy that knows how to play basketball. Right. I'd take him on my team right now. I mean, look at what Kyle does for us. He's a Pop guy. He played for the Spurs. It's just you get those smart players in there, and sometimes I feel like Cat's a cancer. Like
they say the same thing about Rudy Gobert. They say nobody likes Rudy Gobert, not even his teammates. That's why he's punching Kyle Alexander in the last regular season game last year.
Kyle Anderson,
or Anderson. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one
forget
question
my favorite player's name. Go ahead.
I got one question for Joel before he leaves. This is somebody who knows nothing about basketball, but I do love stars. Anthony Edwards, is he a top 5 player yet, or when will he become one?
I think he's a top 5 player at his position. There's not many people that I'd put for young players to take over him. I mean, Joker, Luka, I mean, some of the stars, but yeah, I'd say he's probably about a top 15 player right now.
Okay.
And he's growing. I mean, I think he's going to be there soon.
Oh yeah, he's 21 again. Like the kid's made more threes already than anybody at his age. He's a bona fide scorer.
He is very close to being all NBA and all NBA defense.
He's going to be the best two-way player in the game, if not this year, next year. Because it's right now it's Embiid, right? We can agree that it's probably Embiid.
Two-way, yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right. Joel, thanks for coming on the show, man. It's always nice to see you.
Later, boys.
See you at Christmas, Mo. All right, boys. Let's get on to the Pastronaut, baby. Ha ha! God, it feels good to be a Vikings fan. Although I still feel like I should have jumped ship for the Lions last year and stuck with it because they look like a contender. I tell you what.
I'm going to disagree with you every single step of the way. I do not think the Lions are great.
I am going to piggyback of what my brother just said, and we argue about every goddamn Sunday. You keep saying the Vikings. I'm not saying the Vikes are the best team in the league, but the teams that you keep saying are the best.
The Lions are good.
fucking Bills just lost to the goddamn Broncos.
The Bills, when their offense is not turning the ball, when Josh Allen isn't turning the ball over, they are an impossible offense. Impossible.
I'm just saying any team can fucking win, and we got the coaching where that gives us an advantage over a lot of teams, in my humble opinion. But I will let you lead us into the Vikings thread or discussion, and then we can start beating each other up.
I appreciate that.
My still thing is I right now with Joshua Dobbs, we win the division.
Brad, did you not just hear your brother who was going to let me introduce the discussion? Okay.
Sorry.
Can the Vikings and Josh Dobbs prove it in prime time against Denver? The NFL changed its social media accounts from celebrating Taylor Swift to celebrating the Pastronaut Josh Dobbs, entering a primetime matchup between Minnesota and Denver on Sunday night. Denver has seemed to fix its defense since allowing 70 points to Miami. They certainly didn't have any problem shutting down Josh Allen, who likes to turn the ball over, as we just discussed. They can be run on, however, and the Vikings seem to have found some sort of running game in their new quarterback. And they might get Justin Jefferson back. Brad, do you have any insight into whether or not Justin Jefferson's going to play in this game?
Just from what the speculation is, he can play.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's all him. I think he wants to play, but he wants to be healthy. As long as we're winning, keep him there. Get him 100%. I want to go off of that, though, with Jefferson and with Dobbs. Jefferson, arguably, right now, is the best wide receiver in the league.
I don't think it's arguable. I think it's just a fact.
Okay, I'll take that. With a pocket passing quarterback,
Tyreek Hill.
You imagine what this guy can do with Dobbs getting outside of the pocket, the shit that Jefferson can, like. This is going to be. He's not as fast as, but the scrambling thing, oh my God. Our offense could
Three guys running wide open on any play that he escapes the pocket. Three guys,
right.
Probably.
Right.
Hawkinson, Addison, Jefferson, the Suns.
I think my brother is completely right. What he has turned Hawkinson and then Addison into, imagine having somebody even better than those two. It should be fun. It should be really fun. My only knock on Dobbs, and I love the man, is I hate the NFL how it'll just focus on to one story when it's still, to me, the story of the Minnesota Vikings is what our defensive coordinator has done. Our defense is a legit defense again. Like, this is a defense from back fucking decades ago where it's just like, defense is running the table now. It's fucking fun to watch. But yeah, Dobbs is a hero.
I never remember where I see it, who I hear it from, where I watch it from. But that's what somebody said, exactly what Mike just said. The Vikings right now have a top 10 defense in the NFL.
That's all they need.
Because of their coach. I'm going to go off of this. If the Vikings make the playoffs and they win one game, I'm just saying one game, it should be a split MVP between Joshua Dobbs and Kirk Cousins. Coach of the year.
You said this last show.
Oh, did I already say this? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Repeat it.
No, I'll just be.
No, Flores. I think we all agree. Brian Flores should be the coach of the year.
Yeah.
To turn
what second to last ranked defense into a top 10 defense is insane.
And to take with what we had last year, which wasn't actually probably less than we had last year. I mean, this shows. I stand by that statement I made in one of our text threads. Coaching matters more than players in the NFL. I mean, I totally stand by that because they're all freaking good. If you make it to the NFL, you've got the talent, especially on defense. I mean,
and Josh Dobbs has proven that. Apparently, you put him in the right system, he can be a starting quarterback too.
But Tellis arguably is the best defensive player in the league right now for what he's doing for our team. I mean,
but that's, to me, that's coaching. He fits perfectly in the defensive scheme. Like, we didn't talk about Metellus once last year, and now we're freaking I agree. He's the centerpiece of our defense.
Our best rookie defender is an undrafted rookie, and Pace Jr. It's incredible the guys that got running out there, and I've been impressed with the corners too. That Blackman has like sticky coverage and run plays up to the outside too. Like these guys are not afraid to tackle. They look like 9-player football players out there. I'm telling you,
no names. If you think about it, it's a bunch of no names.
Yeah.
On our defense, besides Danielle Hunter. I mean, really, like.
And the Hitman. I mean, Harry the Hitman, but he's past his prime, arguably.
Did you guys see the video of the game-winning interception? Afterwards, he lets, I think, is it Byron Murphy catch it? And afterward, he tells, "Did you hear me say, that's you? He's like, yeah, I heard you." He let somebody else intercept the ball, even though it could have been like his, I don't know, 35th pick of his career or something like that.
Well, and the sad thing to think about is it's not like he's a liability on defense.
No,
but
he's a great leader.
He is, but like not on the field. He hasn't been doing a whole lot this year. You know, he's there occupying space, in my opinion.
That's all he needs to do, though. He's effective against the run in terms of that position. As far as that position is concerned, I think he's probably one of the better run stoppers from the safety position.
No, and that's the difference, I think, from watching the Vikings as opposed to a lot of other teams on Sunday is when it comes to their secondary, I mean, their cornerbacks and their safeties, they're pretty fucking damn good tacklers. I mean, anything on the outside, they're making the stops. I mean, defense, I can't stress it enough. Vikings defense right now, I freaking love watching it. Probably more than watching the offense.
That's what I believe. Go ahead, Brad.
I believe it was the play that kind of knocked Michael Thomas out of the game, how these young corners are buying into this scheme, and they baited him in on a throw to the left sideline where the cornerback dropped back, and it's like, here you go, here's your opening. They throw it to him, he smears them in the back, drops the ball. Like, I don't know. I've been telling you guys this from day one. From day one before we played a fucking game. We're going to have a top 10 defense. Flores is the shit. Here we go.
We knew he was the best offseason pickup of the offseason. Like, we said that.
Offseason.
Yeah. But this, I did not. I thought maybe if we could get out of the bottom third defensively, that would be success for us. But going to the top third of the league in defense was not something I expected at all.
No, our front office, they should win awards too. If the Vikings
GM for going out and get Josh Dobbs, he should be GM of the year.
He had no idea. No idea he was going to get traded. Like,
I'm not encouraging like injuries or anything in the NFL because obviously the Vikes have been bitten by that bug probably more than any other team this year. But that article I sent you guys by Jonathan Harrison, that the damage we're doing to opposing quarterbacks, like I just love the physicality of our defense.
Well, that's what happens when you blitz 60% of the time.
Took out Derek Carr. We've taken out Justin Fields. Took out Brock Purdy in that game. I mean, it's just Hunter, a healthy Danielle Hunter. I don't understand like the PFF grades. How the hell he's like a 30 ranked end where it's like, watch him on the field now. Like, do they not watch the games? Like
he's leading the league in
sacks.
Top
5 end right now.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's streaky, isn't he? I mean, that's the thing is he had years where he didn't have that, and it was probably due to health, I'd imagine.
He's playing for money right now. He's playing for money. He's 30 years old.
His contract is expiring. Yeah,
he's playing for money. DJ Wanham, man, I tell you what, like, dude, he's playing tough. He is playing tough. I love this team, man. You tell me 5 weeks ago, NFL's looking at this game. Oh shit, man! Sunday night.
We're gonna have to flex it.
Vikings, Broncos, and now Broncos have turned it around. We turned it around. We got this Dobbs guy doing shit. Like, dude, I'm excited. I am.
Actually, speaking about that, I think we all watched the Broncos Bills game, and I understand we talked Vikings football, but just for like a minute to 2 minutes. Do you think the Broncos are legitimately turning? I do think they're kind of turning it around, or maybe the Bills just aren't fucking good.
No, you got to give a lot of credit to the defensive coordinator. They've installed almost an entirely new defense after that 70-point loss to Miami. They've improved defensively, but absolutely. And Russell Wilson is playing much better under Sean.
Back to somewhat old.
Bill's defense is decimated by injuries, though. I mean, so there's another thing, and the Bills' defense is was one of the top things. They're just getting their asses kicked by injuries right now.
So half of their guys are out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, should their coach be on the hot seat though? I mean, we're talking about Minnesota Vikings defense, where it's like we've got undrafted players who are stars now. Pace Jr., where it's like, I'm sorry, like
he should be on the hot seat because he took over the defense for Leslie Frazier and allowed to have 12 players on the field during a field goal attempt that won the game. That should be a fireable offense, and instead the offensive coordinator gets fired. He'll be gone. He'll be gone at the end of the season or before.
Did you guys want to hear the sick joke that I heard or that I saw?
Of course, it's foul play by play. Let's get foul.
It's fucking horrible.
Oh no,
it's horrible. So there's this meme going around. Is it meme or meme?
Meme. I don't know how many times you have to call it meme, you old man. Like.
So anyway, it's going around.
That's gonna be funnier than the goddamn joke.
Which one of these internets is it going around on?
Do you know who actually got called for the penalty of being the 12th man on the field?
Could have been anybody, but
it was Damar Hamlin. He should have not been on the field.
Oh, because he came in for an injury previously and he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Nobody told him because the goddamn head coach is the defensive coordinator.
We can't broach any
10-minute warning.
Got to stop.
Nope.
Said why didn't you just stay blank? I was like, oh my God, this is horrible.
That is horrible.
Awful.
No, that is not funny. We talked about that last year, except he's... Jesus Christ.
Like,
old white men have no filter.
Oh,
they do not understand what is offensive.
Tony,
control the show. Control the show, Tony.
Jared Spurgeon, the captain, returns. And the Wild allow 8 goals. What's wrong? Minnesota special teams is what's wrong. They were a mess against Dallas on Sunday. The penalty kill didn't kill much, and their power play allowed more goals than it scored. The Wild set a new record for the most power play goals allowed in an NHL game, with the Stars scoring 5 times on 6 chances. The Wild defense has been horrible, it says here. I did not write this. They've allowed 64 goals, the second most over their first 15 games. That's good information. Minnesota also allowed 2 shorties and scored just once on the power play against Dallas. Just 1 goal scored on Marc-Andre Fleury, though, was at even strength. So I don't know what we could take away from that game. It's been an epidemic for the special teams this year. They've killed just 63.5% of power plays. That's never going to do well. It's the worst rate in hockey by far. They're also the bottom third in power play percentage. So they're not scoring with an extra guy. They're not, they're allowing goals almost all the time against an extra guy. And they take the 8th most penalties, so it doesn't bode well for this team. All they can really do... I mean, Spurgeon played his first game back. That was against Dallas, was his first game back. So it should improve, but how much it improves, I don't know. They were a highly penalized team last year. We said in order to beat the Stars going into the playoffs, they had to stay out of the penalty box. They could not. They lost. And I think it's probably just going to be the same old story this season. They're the same old team. They're just a year older. They lost Matt Dumba and replaced him with Brock Faber. Faber's performed admirably, but I don't think he's on the level yet of Dumba. And hopefully Spurgeon adds some block shots. He did block 3 shots in that game against Dallas. But yeah, they got to keep all 5 guys on the ice. It's just, and with Gustafsson not playing up to the contract he signed in the
no shit.
That really hurts because this team relies a lot on goaltending based on this right here. The fact that we're going to spend a lot of time in the penalty box. We're not going to be very good at killing penalties. And I mean, I think the regression to the mean on the shorties that they've allowed on power plays is going to even out. But Jesus Christ, man, they have been turning it over, entering the blue line with an extra man on the regular. And that's how you end up giving up shorties is, hey, here you go. Here's the puck in the middle of the ice. There's nobody back there except my goaltender. Good luck. Fucking shootout goal. They're going to score that probably 75% of the time.
So can our young prospect, I can't pronounce, Jesper Wallstedt, can he be our savior this year, or should we keep him down? Let him develop.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see him play this year, but I think that from what I read, he was a year away coming into this season. They expect him to be able to take the reins maybe middle of next year. But
I know he traveled with the team. Didn't we play in Sweden today?
Today? No, there's no game today. There is a game in Sweden though. There's a Swedish player who got his family like 100 tickets.
I think that's got to be him.
Yeah.
Our goalie prospect. Yeah. So I guess my question for the Wild, and I'd like to hear your guys' opinion, is it just the defense?
The defense at 5-on-5 isn't terrible. It's just the special teams. It's when we're down a man. And, the problem with that is generally it's a man that you usually is on the penalty kill. So it's like you're double fucked. Now we've lost a guy who not only is like essential to shutting down power plays. It's I don't know how you fix it. You just gotta not commit penalties, but you tend to commit penalties when you're behind the play. And you're behind the play because you're not as good as the player you're against. Or you're not moving your feet, or you're not healthy. You're just a step behind. When you're a step behind, you don't use your feet. You use your stick or body to slow somebody down, and all of a sudden you're in the box and they're scoring goals that they ought not score if you just moved your feet or been healthy or faster or better than the player you were covering. What it boils down to, boys. Every game boils down to one-on-one matchups. It's like
no, and that's the shitty thing is like watching the games right now. As soon as they get into the penalty, you're like, "Fuck."
Yeah, here comes.
We're tied. We're down one, down two. I mean, what was it? 2-3 games ago, we got that major penalty for fighting, and it's like, all right, you got 7 fucking minutes of penalty. It's like, shit, this game's gonna be it started out 0-0. It's gonna be 6-0.
They're not winning the fights anymore either. So they're not getting the energy from fighting that they did when Ryan Reeves was fighting for them. So they don't even have that guy anymore. It might be a rough season for the Wild this year.
I think so.
But at least we got teams. Two incredible teams. We're the story of both the football and basketball world, boys. How often has that happened?
Hey, and we're coming off Twins in the playoffs. I'll take playoff sports or playoff teams any day of the week. As long as the team makes it to the playoffs, I'm happy.
Yeah.
With regards to the Wild, though, I mean, from what I've been reading and what I've seen, the thrill looks a little disappointing. It looks kind of average this year.
He hasn't been scoring at the clip that he's usually scoring at, but he's also
turning the puck over too.
He's been playing without his buddy Goudreau, who sets him up nicely in a lot of situations. So they're probably just trying to get that chemistry back.
So at what point is it ultimate panic for this team?
I mean, we got a month.
Yeah,
we could start panicking in a month.
But I mean, it's a typical thing. I mean, us as Twins fans too. Wild are kind of the same way. They either start hot or they finish hot, which typically they finish hot, and then they suck in the fucking playoffs and can't win a damn series. But it just takes a month or two. I mean, of being hot and playing good hockey, and I think I don't know. I think they're there.
They've been like the Vikings in terms of luck. Puck luck has not gone their way either.
Yeah.
They've hit all kinds of posts in games. They've missed the net high over and over and over again. And eventually those are going to start finding the net. It's just a matter of time, really. But yeah, they've had terrible puck luck, and they haven't done themselves any favors by getting into the box as much as they do. And again, I mean, it might not be so bad if you don't have to have 38-year-old Marc-Andre Fleury playing in net as your regular goaltender. I mean, he's still really great for his age, but he's still towards the bottom of the league in terms of stopping pucks.
I think how the season's going right now, and things can change. I think they whiffed. I think they whiffed on giving the money. Like, it just, I mean, coming out game one, he looked good. And then after that, it's been just.
How can you not pay the man who had 50 saves in a fucking playoff game, Brad, though?
I agree. I mean, so, okay, let's get out of hockey now. Fuck that. Like, they're way away from their playoffs.
Well, we only got 90 seconds left. This is how long it took for the Timberwolves and Golden State Warriors to get into it last night.
Josh Dobbs takes us to the NFC Championship. Who do they pay money? To Josh Dobbs or Kirk Cousins?
That's going to be an expensive Josh Dobbs, is all I'm saying. Like, I said both. I would like to have both.
I don't think Dobbs wants to be a backup anymore, though. But he's not going to get superstar quarterback money, which is what I would like. But everything I've been reading from Kirk Cousins, he really wants to be with the team next year now.
Yep.
Which is weird.
He doesn't want to move anymore.
Dobbs will be like Jimmy Garoppolo, a guy coming in, doing good and he's going to get fucking buku. I'm saying, if he takes them to the playoffs, they win a game or two, $20 million a year, guaranteed. He's making $800,000.
I don't know about that. All right. Well, it's time for Minnesota Amateur Athletes of the Week. And this week we are lucky to be joined by Kingsland sophomore quarterback and defensive back Kaaleem Reiland and defensive coordinator and assistant coach Dan Lowe. He made big plays on both sides of the ball last week, fellas. It was incredible. They beat Hills Beaver Creek 26-14, advancing the Knights to the 9-player semifinals at US Bank Stadium on November 16th. And they're located in Spring Valley, Minnesota. They've got I think the enrollment's 149. Here's the stat line for Kaaleem Reiland. Thank you for joining us, Kaaleem, and for being with us, Coach Lowe. My first question is just about what you did that day. You had 9 passes completed for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. You led your team in rushing with 70 yards on 11 carries. And then you had 2 interceptions on defense and 5 solo tackles on defense as well. What part of your performance are you most proud of? Your passing, your rushing, your picks, or your tackles, and why?
I'd probably say my leadership, just overall, just being able to lead the team, do my part, do my job, and being able to lead the team to a big victory.
Coach, what were you most impressed with?
Pretty much what he said. Kaaleem's come way in the last year or so. Both offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the football. Offensively, he got thrown into the starting role as a freshman last year on real short notice when our starting quarterback went down with a Liz Frank injury to his foot. So, Kaaleem got thrust into it, but he's an athlete and he's a gamer. And when the lights come on, absolute different kind of athlete. And it's just, it's fun to sit back and watch. It's nice to have a seat on the sidelines to see what he's able to do. So, and playoff football just brings out a different level of him. And you can see it when he performs.
You should get a lot of credit for this win too, as well, Coach, for scheming a defense that allowed just 14 points, 8 of which came after the game was well in hand. What was your game plan, and how well did your players execute it that day?
Honestly, the game plan is pretty simple. I try to simplify it down as much as I can because I've got kids that can perform. They make me look very, very smart every Friday night. So our game plan, we knew they had a decent sized running back. The kid was about 6'4", 225. So we wanted to limit that, not let him get ahead of steam going on us. And, he had to carry the ball 28 times. So we did a pretty decent job of bending and not breaking. We got a couple of injuries defensively. And then, as far as limiting them in the passing game, they picked up some junk yards kind of at the end of the game. But when you've got kids that are roaming around like Kaaleem and, Aiden Howard, one of our other D-backs that can just absolutely make plays and blanket kids all over the field, it makes my job really, really easy. So, yeah.
Is there anything required of defensive backs in 9-player version of the game that isn't in the 11-player version of the game, do you think? And does it affect the way that you coach defensive backs?
Not really. I mean, the one good thing about 9-man football and 11-man is football's football. You still got to block, still got to tackle, still got to play coverage. And again, like I said, we've got athletes that can do things that you don't see at a lot of the 9-man levels in 9-man teams. We've been working a lot this year on playing press man coverage. A lot of teams in 9-man, they like to play off the ball because, you're limited on, small school enrollment on how many big athletes you can find that can make plays. And again, we've got really good football players, so we can play a little bit more aggressive style of football just because of how, just the dogs that they are.
Brad, you got a question for Kaaleem or Coach?
Yeah, Kaaleem, I was just curious, who do you model your game after? Obviously that you seem like you're a pretty humble kid for being a sophomore with, what you said about your leadership role, which I am very impressed at. So yeah, who do you model your game after?
I would say maybe a little Lamar Jackson, maybe a little Aaron Rodgers. I kind of watch your highlights, and Marshawn Lynch too.
Nice.
Good answer. Maybe I don't know. Are you guys Vikings fans? Maybe throwing a little Dobbs in there now.
I might have to add him in there.
Good deal.
Mike, go ahead.
All right, Kaaleem, I've got a question for you. Just coming from the small program you're from, as Tony stated, I think you guys got 149 students in your high school. Yeah, this week you get to play on the biggest stage in Minnesota at the Bank. I mean, what do you expect from that? How does that feel going into that as somebody your age when you get to watch these stars every Sunday? I mean, take the Bank. I mean, what's it feel like for you going into this environment?
It's crazy. I never really thought, we'd be here, years previous, but now it's like we're here, we're on a business trip, and we just want to get started in. Yeah.
Well, good luck to you.
Yeah, the Kingsland Knights are 12-0, undefeated this season. They'll they'll start the semifinal round tomorrow at US Bank Stadium. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster for $16 before fees. That gets you into the games on Thursday. There's 4 of them, and then all 5 games on either Friday or Saturday. And that they start at 10:30 in the morning on Thursday against Fertile Beltrami Falcons. We're unfamiliar. They're also 13-0, so it should be a pretty good game, I imagine. They just got done with their tape session, and they're ready to go, they said. Does anybody have any 9-man football questions they want to ask?
I got a question, and maybe either one of them, Coach, can help out on this. Is there any way we can watch the game tomorrow if we can't attend to it? Say me out here in Montana.
Yep. So there is a website that the Minnesota State High School League partners with for their state tournaments. It's nstntv.com. It used to be prepspotlighttv.com. So if you Google either one of those, you'll find it. Or you go to Minnesota State High School League's website. They've got links right to it on there as well. And I think for like $10, you can watch every single one of the state games for that day. So you for that month, you can sit down and watch a whole bunch of football, or pay $30 for the year. You can watch a bunch of high school sports and even some local college stuff. So it's a nice little setup.
Good deal. I look forward to watching.
Mike, you got any more questions?
No, let's just for Kaaleem. 2 interceptions is pretty good. Let's see 3 tomorrow, huh?
Maybe even 4.
I like it.
All right. Well, you've got new fans of the Kings. I've only got one Knights shirt, and it's a Henderson Golden or Silver Knights shirt for the Vegas minor league team, the minor league hockey team. So we'll all be rooting for you, Kaaleem and Coach Lowe. Thank you for joining us on the Foul Play-by-Play podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.